I'm back with a power tip about branding. So I'm an online entrepreneur, but I have 11 years experience of design and branding with my own brand consultancy. And I'm on a mission to help you today with a super useful topic that a lot of freelancers and solopreneurs who are starting out don't know. And I want to share my branding superpowers with you. So the topic today that I'm talking about is helping you if branding is driving you crazy. I just got a message like that in my Facebook group, Celebrate Possibility, of one of my members was saying that she's like stuck with branding, and she showed me a picture of designing her business cards, and she was really kind of overwhelmed with what colors to use, which image, and what tagline. It's like, and I can totally understand, and I've been in those shoes, and I can help you with that. So the thing is, if you're in a moment where you're like overwhelmed like this, you probably don't have full clarity about your brand. So the first thing you gotta do is backtrack just a little bit and make sure you're really clear about your brand. And once you are, this will really help you to know exactly what colors, what fonts, what look, what paper, all that good stuff. So backtrack a little bit, put those design bits on the side, whether you're designing your website or your business cards or just picking a font. If you're not clear about your brand, leave that on the side and bear with me, and I'm going to help you with some power tips. So here are the 5 power questions you can ask yourself to get started, to get more clarity. And I'll have more help if you need more, but this at least will give you a bit more of a grip and get you going in the right direction. So, branding. I'm going to give you just a super quick backtrack and overview what the word branding means, because you may have been fallen prey to a misconception. So branding doesn't just mean design. It really starts with some strategy questions. So how I define the term branding is it starts with clarity. That's the phase where we kind of really think about some essential things like what's your expertise, what's your focus, who are your ideal customers, how do you set yourself apart from others in your field. All those big questions for your business to really help you know where you want to go and where you're at and how you can succeed. Okay, so that's the clarity phase, phase 1. Phase 2 is the creation phase. These are just terms I'm using. There's different terms out there. It doesn't matter, but I just break it down to these 3 terms. So creation phase, that's when you can start creating all those things like the business cards, the website, your messages, your text, your voice, the about text, all that stuff. You can do that in phase 2 because from phase 1 you have the clarity to know exactly what to do. So phase 2 is creation. And then the third phase is communication. That's when you can actually take your stuff out there and bring your brand out there. And I'm not saying you fully have to do this perfectly, because it can get overwhelming. You don't want to like spend a whole year developing everything in fine-tuned detail and then go out in the market. No, you want to get moving and get going. And I get that. You want to test your market. You want to talk to your customer, get business done. So don't get hung up on all that stuff to make it perfect, but take this moment to get some clarity and spend at least a little bit of time to get clear about who you are as a brand and what are your superpowers and what your success strategy can be, and then you can create your awesome business cards and that stuff. So let's go into the power questions that I have for you in the video, and I just broke it down to 5, but I'm going to give you a free download at the bottom of this blog post where you can have more questions to give you more clarity, so you can actually go to a coffee place and like really think about your brand for a moment and kind of really flesh it out. It's super worth it. It's like an investment for the future, so I highly recommend it to you that you grab that download as well. But here are some power questions to start. So first power question you can ask yourself is, what do you want to become known for? And this is all under the premise that you're a solopreneur or a freelancer, but it also works for bigger businesses. It's always kind of the same concept. But ask yourself, what do you want people to say about you and your business? Like, what's your expertise and what's your focus? What one sentence thing would you love to hear when other people recommend you as somebody to go to? So get clear about that and try to be as concise and narrow as possible. so that you're already kind of different from others in the field. You don't just want to say like a web designer or an esthetician or whatever, but make it concise and cool. It's like try to think a little bit from your passion as well. So for example, you may want to say, I want to get known as the esthetician who is like super friendly, has this cool special whatever process you have, or this a cool office or whatever. It's like she makes people feel fantastic in her special so and so. This is like a very rough example. It's not really fleshed down. It obviously takes time, but like think for yourself just a little bit like how you may be able to narrow it down, and you can flesh that out later again. But that's the first question, okay? So then the next one is how. Question 2 you can ask yourself is how can you set yourself apart from others in the industry? So chances are you looked around a little bit and know what others are doing a little bit. So think a bit in all kinds of directions, like how can you be different? Like, do you have a different process, or do you have like a different expertise, like a niche expertise that others don't have? Or do you have better customer service and you're really passionate about making some awesome experience happen for your customers? Or are you in a very special location that others don't have access to? Or do you have like a really cool story from your background, like how you started, or think of all the things that kind of set you apart that just come to your mind right now, and write them down. Maybe do a brainstorming session, or just, it's good to sleep on those things as well, because ideas will flow once you start thinking about that. But that's a really good second question you can ask yourself, so that you can kind of start thinking strategically in how you can be different from others. And please don't use price as a difference factor, because that's a losing game. You don't want to underbid others. And people can always underbid you, and you want to get paid well for what you do because you're awesome and you deserve to get paid well. So, okay, no price, but anything else, whatever makes you different. Cool. Number 3, question 3 you can ask yourself, and you should ask yourself that for sure. Like, definitely carve that out for yourself. Find out who is your ideal customer or your customer avatar. And what I mean by that is defining, like, just think, either you have an existing example of a customer who was just amazing, like somebody who really benefited of what you do, who paid you well, is totally happy to pay you because they love what you do, somebody you love working with, somebody you really click with too. Like, you want to create a business that you love, so don't just think in terms of money or that kind of stuff, but think who makes you happy, because when you're passionate and you're happy, then you attract more people. You want to get into that zone. So think about what kind of person that is and give that person a name. That's how you create an avatar. Some people call it avatar. I call it ideal customer profile. But give that person a name and kind of write it down. Like, write yourself sort of a reference sheet and really put yourself in the shoes of that person, to really kind of picture, like, okay, where do they live? What's their name? Just the name can be fictitious. That's more to help you remember later who that person is. Think what their lifestyle is. Like, where do they work? Do they have a business? Like, about how much money may they be making? Like, where do they hang out? Where do they spend their money? What is important to them? What are their biggest challenges in their life right now? Like, what keeps them up at night? That kind of stuff. So really put yourself in their shoes, imagine it a little bit, or do some research, or talk to people. Don't get hung up again like with too much time or anything. Nothing has to be perfect, but the more you have a feeling of that customer, the better you can later create stuff that really helps them, and that's how you can really connect with them later. So this profile of this one-page deal that you put together of your ideal customer or your avatar can help you in your marketing. Like, you will get ideas like how you can talk to them, how you can reach them, where they hang out. It can help you in knowing like what kind of stuff will make them feel awesome, like what is important to them. So it'll help you figure out what fonts, what colors, and what papers and all that stuff, like what is really great to help connect with them. So it will be super, super useful. So do that exercise for sure. That will be the question, and exercise 3 you can do. Number 4, oops, my computer goes to sleep. Number 4 is ask yourself, that's number 4, how are you making their life better with your service or product? And that is kind of part of creating the customer avatar, but it's a super important question by itself that you should absolutely kind of figure out, because that is the pain point that people talk about. You know, like when you talk about marketing and you look at stuff, that's what they mean with pain points. So it's basically thinking about what their challenge is in life right now and how you can make their life better. So when you're marketing, it's not about selling your product or your service, but it's actually, people always want to know what's in it for me. Like, how is this good for me? Like, why should I buy this? And they will not look at the face-to-face like benefits of the product, but what ultimately gets people excited is like, oh my gosh, I felt so awesome after using this. I was able to do such and such, and I was able to make more money. I was able to feel so relaxed and like a queen, or whatever it is, you know, like, or I was able to get my life back. What is it? Like, what are their struggles in life right now? A lot of people have not enough time, they're stressed out, you know, maybe you give them relaxation, and you give them more zen, and you make them feel more centered, or you power them up. That's not what I do with my teachings and learnings, and for women business owners, to empower them. Think about that and how you can make their life better. So that's question number 4. What transformation you can create for them. And I have a cool example actually that I wanted to add with that. I always look to, not always, but a lot of times I listen to what other entrepreneurs are doing. And one super marketer that I always look up to is Jeff Walker. And he had, in one of his videos, he had a really cool example for that kind of transformation that his teachings could give to people. So he had what he does is like he empowers people to create a really cool online business with his product. Like he developed the product launch formula, and people can share their teachings online and then make money like that. So his transformation story that he had for a customer was teaching guitar lessons, right? Like, so if somebody teaches guitar lessons online and you have a customer, their life transformation in his example was that one person who took those lessons was suddenly able to play in a band, to get dates, to get more out there. His life was totally transformed by learning how to play the guitar. So take that as an example and think of how your service or product can change and affect somebody's life and make it better, and then write that down. That will be hugely inspiring and useful for you, to help you to get clarity about your brand, and to help you word and form services and products like exactly how they help your ideal customers. Okay, last question for the power questions, and I'm just super selective. You can ask more questions too, but these will really get you started. 5th question is, how will this make them feel? So this ties into the last question. So after you kind of figured out like how it will make their life better, now really put yourself in the shoes of your ideal customer and think how it makes them feel. Like, what kind of emotion would they have when they experience that transformation and when their life is so much better? And you can define that that will be your brand feeling. So if you define that and you know, okay, for instance, I always, like in my example, I always want women to feel empowered and empowered about your own superpowers and your business and excited. That's kind of my brand feeling that I'm trying to create. Knowing that, I try to put that in everything that I do, right? So if you know that brand feeling for yourself, you can put that into your brand message and like really express that. You can use it as inspiration, even as far as the paper that you're using for your business cards. Because I had one customer in Beverly Hills. She's a wedding designer, and one of her brand feeling is pretty much she wants to make all her customers feel very pampered and luxurious, right? So her brand feeling was actually the inspiration of the paper that we chose for her business cards. It was like a really lavish sort of silky paper, and we actually produced it with letterpress so that the whole thing and look of the design, everything felt like pampering. So your brand feeling can be the inspiration for your colors, your papers, your messages, how you talk, your brand voice, everything. So it can inspire you really so much later on in how to talk to your customers, and it can also excite you in what you want to create and bring to this world. So it's really worth asking yourself that question: how will you make your customers feel through your product or service? What's your brand feeling? Okay, so after you did these 5 questions, you may still be like, okay, so now what do I do with that? And that's a very good question. And so you may be in a spot where you kind of already found the spark. You're like, okay, I know it. This is cool. I can move forward. I kind of know now what font and colors I should use, and I'm just doing this direction. That's kind of a good direction to get going, and that may be fine. You know, it's really good. If you're just starting your business, you don't want to, you don't necessarily have to spend a fortune on like big, perfect branding, because you may not know your brand yet. You may just want to test the market. You may want to figure out who your best customers are. So it depends where you are in your life, you know. So it's important to get momentum too. You want to create your business and do stuff and make money and like grow and learn. You learn a lot by growing. But if you're in a later stage of your business, let's say you've been in business for like 1 or 2 years, and you feel that you know your customers, but your brand just doesn't feel like you entirely. You're ready to go to the next level and really make it exactly unique and set it apart. You want to make it professional and really have a very, very clear message, and you know where you're going. You've tested the markets. You know it's working, right? If you're at that point, then for sure it will make sense to actually really think about this, and probably also hire a designer to help you really visualize your brand and create stuff and text and products that are exactly unique and exactly you, and like all cohesive and all that stuff. So it depends where you are in your business. But wherever you are, you can use those 5 questions to get more clarity about your brand now, and then to move forward and wherever you need to go with your business. So I made a questionnaire for my clients that I'm sharing with you. So you can use this questionnaire. It's a download is below. It has more questions to help you get your mind going even more in depth about your brand, so you can get a really good feel of where you're going, what your vision is, and all that stuff. And I really encourage you to do that, and to go to a coffee place or an Inspire place, reserve like 2 hours and fill in that questionnaire, like really dive into that. That's super useful because it will help you kind of take your business seriously and like really kind of go in a direction that will make you happy, and you think about stuff. You don't just go. To create something awesome, you want to have an awesome foundation. You don't just want to like go blah blah blah, because you can lose a lot of time and money just going random, and you won't stand out. It won't be special. It may not be taken seriously. So this is very important to think about those questions before you go and do stuff. So download that questionnaire no matter what, and then see how you feel, where you're at. If you need more clarity, you can hop on a free call with me. I'll have a link to book a free call with me in that questionnaire, where you can see how I can help you. If I can help you, I have like branding power consulting sessions. I could do like, help you get more clarity. I'm actually really good at doing that. When talking with people, it's good to talk to outsiders, because a lot of times it's hard to figure that out for yourself, where you're at. Like even for myself, like I'm a branding expert, but if I need to adjust my brand as I grow my business, sometimes it's hard to pinpoint these things, and even I sometimes talk with other people. So use that opportunity. If you're not fully clear and if you're still kind of struggling, like, don't waste your time just struggling. Just book a free call with me and see if and how you could use help. And if not, you're always cool. So, okay, I hope this helped you. If you like this, like, leave a comment below or come to my Facebook page, leave a comment, share it along. Like, I can use all the love. We're all growing our business, and I'm starting to grow more and more my online business, so I really appreciate any love or comment that you want to give me on Facebook or anywhere else. So thanks for your time. I hope this inspired you, and I wish you much success with your brand. Don't give up, keep going, and stay inspired. Cheers to your success.